Welcome to the Gonzo Chronicles. I'm your host, Cyrus Alderwood, the official spokesman for Generation X. Stick around. It's going to get weird, as always. Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gonzo Chronicles. Hey, this is Cyrus Alderwood. Hopefully, everybody's having a great Monday. Today is freaking July 22nd. January. Holy crap. I'm not really looking forward to January weather, but hey, I'm kind of looking forward to 2025. Maybe that'll be a pretty good year. I don't know. What do you guys think? So, anyway, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been here on the old podcast. Been kind of a busy couple of weeks. I don't know, light stuff. Not much going on in the news. Just an attempted assassination, then a sitting president dropping out of the presidential race. Who knows if Biden's going to last until election day? He may step down. He may actually resign the presidency. A lot of people are calling on him to do that. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But anyway, some crazy times in the news. But I'm not going to get political. But I will be watching rallies from now on. Just to, I don't want to miss a thing. Right? Who said that? Aerosmith. A couple things we're going to talk about today. All right. So I've been watching not a lot of movies, but so I've been watching. I watched a spy movie a couple days ago. I'd recorded this, but I own it on DVD. On Blu-ray. It's called Atomic Blonde. If you're a Charlize Theron fan, or a music fan from the 80s. Holy cow, man. If you love 80s music, watch this freaking movie. If it had a soundtrack, I would say it would be the best soundtrack of all time. There would be no soundtracks better, not even one. Not even Ferris Bueller could come close. Not even, what was that movie? Breakfast Club? That wouldn't even come close. I don't know. Great movie, though. So I want to talk about top 5 spy movies, top 5 spy novels. But I'll watch some vampire stuff, too. I'm kind of looking forward to Halloween. Got a lot of days till Halloween, but I'm really looking forward to it. Just really the month of October. I love the weather, love the creepy movies for a month. Even though they don't show the cool ones, like, some of the ones I want to see are not on TV. But good thing I own those suckers, right? So anyway, let's, first of all, a buddy of mine, Chris, who listens to the show, sent me this funny thing on Instagram about sports guys with the craziest names. Just like freaking insane names. So I started looking up some of the weirdest names in sports. No joke. I remember watching hockey in the 90s, early 90s. And the New Jersey Devils, they had a really good team. But they had a young guy called Miroslav Satan. That's how you pronounce it. But the last name spelled Satan. That's kind of cool if you're playing for the Devils, right? So I started looking up some other just athletes and weird names. There was an Olympic swimmer by the name of Misty Hyman. I'm not kidding. Misty Hyman. I'm just scrolling through some things here. Some names. Razor Shines. That guy played for the Chicago White Sox. Razor Shines. Actually, I don't know. What if that guy shaved his head? I have no idea. I always remember the guy that played for Michigan, Tim Biakapatuka. Yeah, I think he went to the um, Panthers maybe when he got drafted. I think so. Dick Butkus, always a classic name. Bake McBride, guy played for the Phillies. Guy named Bake had the coolest afro. This is back in the 70s. There was a lacrosse player by the name of Will Barrow. No joke. Like, if your last name is Barrow, what kind of parent names you Will? You know? That just doesn't make a lot of sense. There was a guy that played for the Michigan State um, Spartans, college football, back in the 90s. I remember this guy. Napoleon Outlaw. Napoleon Outlaw. No joke. Um, who, by the way, speaking of uh, football, I can't remember the team this guy played for. Great name, though. I am Hip. Like, that was his initials. I am Hip. Hipp. Pretty cool name. There was a guy who played for the New York Giants by the name of Guy Whymper. He played on the offensive line, I think. I don't know. But one of my favorite names of all times. Guy played for the Cleveland Browns. This might have, I don't remember when it was. Maybe early 70s. Fair Hooker. That's his name. Fair Hooker. Has anybody ever met a fair hooker? Because I've never met a hooker in general, but hey, I've ran into a whore or two. Whoa, how about that? Let's see who else we have here. World Be Free. That guy used to play for the Golden State Warriors back in the 70s, early 80s. Who's this guy? Sonny Six Killer. What kind of name is that? Football player. I don't know who he played for. Sonny Six Killer? Sounds like he ought to be like drafted for the Mafia. Now, there was this skier. She was kind of hot, too. She was an Olympic skier. Probably one of the craziest names in sports history. Peekaboo Street. Yeah, she was kind of cute, though. Good old Peekaboo. Stubby Clapp. Guy used to play baseball. Can you imagine having a name like that growing up? Stubby Clapp. Kids probably beating the piss out of you at recess. There's a guy by the name of Urban Shocker. Who remembers a guy who played football named Ben Gay? Played for the Michigan Wolverines. Every time they would say that guy's name when I was a kid, I would just laugh and laugh. Who else do we have here? Shooty Babbitt. What kind of name is that? Shooty. Play for the Whitecaps? Who the hell that is? No clue. But listen, I know soccer is kind of big worldwide. I'm not a big soccer guy. I've tried to watch some. Can't really get into it. But this guy probably needs to come out to some CCR, like down on the corner, because he was a soccer player. I don't know who for, but his parents named him Credence Clearwater Kyoto. Credence Clearwater, first and middle name. That's weird. However, there's another guy here played soccer. One of the coolest names ever, Fabian Assman. I don't know what team he played for, but if you want to look up Fabian Assman, help yourself. And see Blue Moon Odom, Tommy Gunn. He was a basketball player. Who's this cat? Samoa. Here's one of the funniest names ever. This guy pitched for the Red Sox back in the 70s. Dick Pole. Kid you not, man. Dick Pole. That's hilarious. That ranks right up there with that NASCAR driver, Dick Trickle. That has to, why would you name your kid something like that? Dick Trickle. Come on. Who else do we have here? Rabbit, Marinville. I don't know. Rabbit's a pretty cool name. Here's a guy by the name of God Shamgod. He used to play for Providence basketball. I wonder if he ever hangs out with Smiroslav Satan. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, there's Dick Trickle. He showed up on the list. I'm just scrolling through this. Of course, Milton Bradley. Remember that guy? He's named after, well, he played, who did he play for? The Mariners? Anyway, but That was kind of funny. There was a guy who played for the Indians called Coco Crisp. He was an outfielder. That's what everybody called him. I thought his name was Coco all these years, but that's what it shows up uh, on his Fleer cards and stuff. But found out his name was something else. So it actually wasn't Coco. It was Cavelli. That was what it was. His real name was Cavelli. And then he got that Coco name when his grandma started calling him Coco. Co. Yeah, I don't know. There's some weird names. There's a lot of weird names out there. I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a guy who played hockey called Dick Pound. And then there was another guy who played, gosh, what was that? What was it? Asian sports. His name's Dong Dong. And then there was there women's basketball? Dewana Boner. That was funny. Dewana Boner. Uh, but there's a lot of like really weird names out there. I found another list of like 100. Destiny Hooker. That was another one. Jack Sock. That sounds like something a kid would have in his drawer when he's going through puberty. Um, I don't know. I don't know. There's some funny ones here, but you should guys get a chance. Just go look up some funny. Just do a Google search on funniest names in sports. Steele Johnson. Like Jesus, that's funny as hell. Uh, let's see, what is this? Gina Thrasher. Yeah, that's kind of a cool name though. Jansen Junk. Really, guy's last name's Junk? Huh. Oh, that's interesting. Well, anyway, hey, enough of that. Enough of that. So anyway, I started looking up some of these movies that were just like classic movies of all time, vampire movies. And I kind of want to run this by you. I'm going to give you the top 10 grossing movies at the box office. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So these are the top 10 grossing movies at the box office, adjusted for inflation. Vampire movies. The first one, the Twilight Saga, Breaking Dawn Part 2, or as I refer to it as Breaking Wind. That actually made $1.1 billion. The Twilight Saga New Moon, which came out in 2009, made $1.02 billion. The Twilight Saga Eclipse made 985 million. And then Breaking Dawn Part 1 came out in 2011. That made 974 million. So the top 4 grossing vampire movies of all time belong to Twilight. That's freaking sad, man. Way sad. So the next one was I Am Legend. I don't know. I had this discussion with somebody on the Gonzo Chronicles on Rumble, the video version, online version we do. And I don't know if I would count that as a vampire movie, but for whatever reason, it shows up here. 869 million. Twilight from 2008, 583 million. So there's all 5 of those loser movies. Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is the only one really I agree with that's in the top 10. 473 million. Interview with the Vampire at 464 million. Dark Shadows at 329 million. That was the one with Johnny Depp in 2012. That's a pretty good movie, though. Blade 2 came in at 10. 265 million. I'm going to tell you, and I don't have my vampire list in front of me, but I mean, there are some vampire movies that are just amazing, that are so much better than anything in the top 10 grossing films. Fright Night, the original one, amazing movie. Salem's Lot, incredible movie. You know, on this top 20 list, even Morbius from 2022 showed up, 167 million. I thought that movie sucked. From Dusk Till Dawn should have been on this list. Should have been in a top 10. But I got to tell you, my 2 favorites are obviously Salem's Lot. And number 1, I got to tell you, is The Lost Boys. You're not going to convince me that anything these teenage movies are, Twilight teenage vampire films, like, don't hold a candle to The Lost Boys. Prove me wrong, man. Great music, great acting. It was fun, adventurous, edgy. cool, hip for the time, and this was just like watered down. Like, I don't know, man. I can't watch any of this Twilight shit. I just can't. Anyway, what say you? What makes your top five? What's your Mount Rushmore of vampire movies? I'd love to know that. Do you go back to the Hammer films? Because those are really, really good. Those I would have to have a top 10 with a Hammer film in there, definitely. And Renfield. I don't know if anybody saw Renfield. It was a Nick Cage movie from a few years back. That was awesome. It's much better than any of these. Um, I'm surprised Blade didn't. I mean, Blade is a great film. I don't know about Blade 2, but Blade 1 was really, really good. That came out in 98, I think. Then, of course, Blade Trinity. But by the time, Blade 2 was done, I was kind of done with Blade. But Underworld, good film, right? Not the top 10. And I think that one pulled down over 160 million. And that came out, 2003. So that was almost 20 years ago, a little over 20 years ago. Dracula from 1979. Awesome. Awesome movie. Nowhere close to the top 10. So, I don't know. I kind of got a little frustrated seeing this list and thinking, what the heck is going on here? But yeah, prove me wrong. The Lost Boys, greatest vampire movie of all time. Cry, little sister. Come on. Anyway, great soundtrack, too. Where else are you going to hear The Doors and Sisters of Mercy? So anyway, like I said, I watched this Atomic Blonde the other day. And I've seen this movie, I don't know, a dozen times. Never gets old. The music's great. Music is freaking awesome. And Charlize Theron is in rare form in this movie. It was based off a book called The Coldest City, which, don't read it. It wasn't a very good book. It made a very good movie. The story was good. I just thought it was piss poorly written. That's just my opinion. I'm sure there are people that like it. But if I had to rank my top 5 spy movies, and I kind of did something similar. I looked up a list of like spy movies that grossed all this, But if I had to do my personal top 5, I would put The Bourne Identity at 5. From Russia with Love, James Bond love in there. I put that at 4. I don't know if you guys have seen this, 3 Days of the Condor. This came out in the late 70s. It was a really good movie. If you hadn't had a chance to check it out, definitely check it out. 3 Days of the Condor. Number 2, I had The Good Shepherd. I remember going to see that movie when it came out in 2006. I was in Cincinnati at the time, and great film, a little long, but really explained, the Cold War and development of the CIA. But I had 2 Matt Damon movies in the top 5. I hate to put the same person up there, but hey, I can't help it. They're really good movies. And number 1, I put Atomic Blonde. This is the height of the Cold War, the fall of the Berlin Wall, everything going on in Berlin, East and West. It was, espionage, double agents, really great stuff. Had some other big actors in there. You'll notice them when you see them. John Goodman was in it. Some guy from the X-Men films. Skarsgård, the guy who played It, Pennywise the Clown, he was in it. Anyway, there's a whole cast of people that you'll recognize. They all do great. Top 5 spy novels. I've read a ton of spy novels, and I'm a big fan of spy novels. Number 5, I had The Spy Who Came In From the Cold by John le Carre. And I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but number 4, Jack Higgins. He wrote a book called The Eagle Has Landed. Incredible stuff. I love all that old Cold War and World War II type spy novels. Number 3, I had The Quiet American by Graham Greene. That is an incredible book if you haven't read that. If you love spy novels and you haven't read that, that has to go on your summer reading list. The top 2 were actually Frederick Forsyth novels. The Day of the Jackal came in at number 2. Great book. And the one who sort of kicked it off that I read, one of the earliest spy novels I read growing up, I guess I was probably maybe in my early 20s when I decided to read The Odessa File, also by Frederick Forsyth. That really got me into loving that genre. Now, I don't like overread it. I read so many different things. I've done so many book lists on here on this show that you guys know I'm pretty well read, broad range of genres. But that book was probably still hands down, in my opinion, one of the, if not the best spy novel out there. Now, granted, I haven't read all of them, and I'm sure everybody will have a different list. But you love spy movies? What's on yours? What makes your top 5 list? What's your Mount Rushmore of those? And your Mount Rushmore vampire films? I would freaking love to know. Anyway, make sure you leave comments down the bottom. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Also, I put this spy movie and novel stuff over on my Substack page. So if you go to cyrusalderwood.substack.com, go ahead and subscribe. It's free. You just get whenever I add something to it or write like a writing prompt or something I want to add or some commentary on something, you'll get it in your email, or you can always just go to the website there and read it. It's just for fun. Just having a little fun. That's all. Anyway, folks, it is Monday. I hope you have an awesome week. Awesome week. I'll be back soon with another topic, maybe another guest. We'll talk about, hey, whatever comes up, right? Who knows? Until then, everybody, take care. Cheers. I'll see you on down the road.